What's the most ridiculous conspiracy theory you've ever heard? I recently talked to a co-worker off of the social security number secret bank account ledge. I can't believe that's even a thing that some people believe. 9/11, flat earth, moon landing, chemtrails, whatever. I don't buy those, but at least I can fathom the twists in the logic and could see why someone would think that there's a conspiracy. My SSN being a bank account that the government has deposited money into? Why would anyone even do that? Even if it somehow made sense that a government would, why would they give someone a bank account number at birth? I'm going with something recent in a subject we're all sick of: Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. There is a website that you can go to see how much carbon emission celebrities use when using their private jets. If you Google Taylor Swift jets, she was at the top of carbon emissions lost, until she started dating Travis Kelce and attended her first game of his as a couple, Chiefs versus Jets. Now when you Google Taylor Swift jets, that game comes up instead of the emission info. The relationship is based solely on changing the search results. People that believe that numerology predicts when celebrities will die, based on the letters in their name, dates of events, and song lyrics, movie dialogue, somehow only affects celebrities, rappers, movie stars, etc., but not everyone else. The main problem is that no one has ever accurately predicted a death, but can show you tons of evidence that shows exactly when a person was going to die, but only after they are dead. And many, many more, because they're largely illegal. Who wants to live in a Gestapo state? We're going that road quickly enough anyway. Cops have other ways. Where I live, a cop will sit on the morning broad and just scan license plates for irregularities, maybe expired sticker of some type that they notice in traffic or something else. But they're looking for probable cause, and that's usually more productive for their purpose of revenue raising and taking some scofflaw off the street, hopefully. But I'm sure it's more about printing tickets. I saw a YouTube video once about some guy, I don't even really remember the details because it was so crazy, but he was talking about like how clouds were actually sky continents and there was a secret planet and we were just its moon, and of course he has some cell phone footage of the night sky as evidence. He said we couldn't see the truth because of dust storms or chemtrails or something. Honestly, I really want to account it in all its glory, but it was so stupid I can't remember any of the details. The assertion that NASA, and every single space agency, along with all workers, scientists and mathematicians, and anybody with satellite access are all lying about the true shape of the planet, for reasons. Oh, and then not only is the world governed by a secret group of reptilian shapeshifters, but they can tell who knows their true name via telepathy and will destroy that person's life as consequence. And that's the real reason nobody is talking about the reptilian invasion. Might have mentioned it before. But the Green Environmental Party in Sweden, Miljöpartiet, is the base of all evil in this world. Additionally, according to this person, the reason why people misbehave in school is because they use snus tobacco nicotine pouches that you put under your lip, which turns your brain green because of Miljöpartiet. This came out during a funeral and I'm almost ashamed to admit that I'm related to this person, who is around 17 years old. I just shared this in a different thread a few days ago, but what the hell, I used to work with a guy who was convinced that natural blondes had gone extinct and women only dye their hair blonde to deceive men. He used to warn me to never date blonde whoops. I've dated more than one because they would only be out for my money. When I asked about men who dye their hair blonde, he started questioning my sexuality and told me real men never notice other men's hair color. Jade Helm. The US military was running exercises around Texas in 2015 and conspiracy theorists believed that they were suddenly going to start rounding up the population and putting them into commandeered Walmarts or something. Dumb enough conspiracy on its own, but then the Texas governor ordered the Texas State Guard to keep an eye on the exercise participants to make sure they didn't try anything. It's just inane lunacy. I've heard a lot of crazy shit online, but the other day my dad pointed to a house with a 5 grams mass next to it and told me that he would never live next to one because they give you cancer from the radiation, and it made my brain hurt worse than anything some stranger online has ever said. Hearing that shit in real life from someone you know is smarter than that makes it so much crazier than hearing worse stuff online. Flat Earth and the like are all strong and propped up to discredit any talk of actual conspiracies. If you want a true one, text we read and write on screens is altered right under our noses for psychological influence. Designed to be brushed off as a lapse of memory or attention if reported, though people who experience it in low concentrations will just overwrite their own memories without a second thought. Secret space program. People believe that a Nazi group split off from the Third Reich and discovered super advanced technology in Antarctica. They then moved to Mars and have been fighting reptilian and insectoid aliens using time travel and genetic super soldiers. Most of the members believe that they are part of this super soldier group and have been alive for hundreds of years. It's absolutely bonkers. A guy I worked with talked about the Iraqi dinar and how it would be worth millions. He bought a bunch of it, I think $10,000 worth. Every day he'd use the phone at lunch and call a guy that he said was his paymaster. He called every day asking if there was any news. Everyone at my work would try to warn him he was being scammed, and he'd just say how misinformed we were and said someday you'll see. My first husband got in an accident on his quad in the middle of the desert in Southern California. He was separated from his group and had to walk alone for over 30 hours with no water. Anyway, he fully believed that rock people saved him, took care of him, carried him up to the top of a hill, and saved his life. He believed this because he had rocks in his pocket when he was rescued. Bohemian Grove nonsense, but with the added caveat that the owl sculptures that you see on lots of buildings isn't just to dissuade other birds from landing and shitting all over the building, but are really ways to hide CCTV and cell towers to control us somehow. As if it's not just bored rich old men kids playing. On the plus side, you will now start to notice owl statues everywhere. The Tartarian conspiracy. Basically that the reason we have shitty boring architecture now is that there was a global empire that fell and we never noticed it around I think about 1920. That pyramids are alien gas stations, because of the chemicals that are present, and no bodies were placed in them originally. And all of this civilization existed before, but was wiped out, and we restarted with the dinosaurs. I used to humor my father's conspiracy theories, because I'll give leeway to a boy who grew up and escaped Nazi Germany. But now I think he's just delusional. Small town, but my neighbor is convinced that the mayor of our town is out to get her because they went to competing colleges 30 years ago. They met one time at a town picnic and that's what they talked about. Really it's because she doesn't mow her lawn, keep her cars stickered, leash her dog, pull permits, etc. I mean, is Pitt PSU really a rivalry anymore? Evangelical Christians want to legalize rape and outlaw abortion so the Antichrist can be born and start the rapture and apocalypse. This is why they support Israel, hoping that the Dome of the Rock built on the foundation of Solomon's temple will be demolished and Solomon's temple rebuilt, ushering in the end times. Evangelical Christianity is a death cult. Top 3. 3. Chemtrails. 2. Birds are fake. 1. Flat Earth. For the life of me I do not understand these three things. What does anyone gain from any of these things being true? Especially flat Earth. Who gains anything from keeping the secret that the Earth is actually flat? Sun, Moon, and other planets are all spherical, but not the Earth. Fuck off. While you're busy patting yourself on the back for how discerning you all are, maybe take a look at some of your own more mainstream beliefs, and consider whether some of those might, too, be completely ridiculous. Perhaps sometimes it's not just evidence or reason that makes a belief sensible or ridiculous, perhaps also, sometimes, it's convention. 15-minute cities. The IMF wanting to contain us to our neighborhoods. This comes up weekly at my garbage workplace, mostly by people that commute over an hour to work their shit job. X200B. I mean, I would love a 15-minute city. I practically do live in one, by choosing a neighborhood that I don't have to leave that often, even for work. The idea that Jeffrey Epstein definitely didn't kill himself. Like yeah, quite possible he was murdered by his elite clients before spilling the beans. It's also entirely possible he killed himself. People with a lot less going on kill themselves all the time. I have no trouble believing a billionaire didn't want to go to prison forever. That the British royal family and international, super wealthy elite are all a secret race of lizard people. I've overheard people in the bar claiming that these lizard overlords disguise themselves in public by wearing skin harvested from human slaves. According to these mental conspiracy theorists, our reptile masters eat human babies. Okay, not to be that guy, but to this day I am absolutely baffled. The conspiracy that Trump won the election and that every accusation against him is part of a conspiracy to stifle him. Is there an agenda in all these charges against him? Sure. Are they legit? Almost definitely. Sorry to get political, but it honestly is the most ridiculous. Paraphrasing Harry Turtledove's aghast aliens here, but if you collect all of the smart people's opinions and all of the dumb people's opinions equally, somehow you get smart government. Like really, despite the fact that there are so many more dumb people than smart ones. AKA democracy, worst idea except everything else we've tried. Time cube, hands down. but a strong runner-up is home Akasa. There used to be a website by the same name that contained a time cube scanned by a guy whose central claim was that the Pope was pumping gas into his apartment to turn him gay for reasons. For me it's the Anunnaki lizard shapeshifters. It's actually what got me out of the conspiracy swamp some 15 or so years ago. So now I have a new conspiracy for you all. David Icke is really an undercover Illuminati agent whose job is to steer people away from conspiracy theories that are probably true, with his lizard theory. So many. Flat Earth. Australia does not exist. Nano-robots are inserted in vaccines to control you. The Pizzagate scandal in the USA. 9/11 was not real. No planes flew into the buildings. Chemtrails. There are people out there in high places that are actually reptiles. Moon landing was fake. A colleague came to me and asked me if I had some cash on hand at home. When I asked why, she asked me that she said that she heard the Chinese had built tunnels underground all across America and were preparing to invade us any day now. Smiley face. She wanted me to stock food and water and to prepare for the invasion. Go over to our aliens and you'll run into a lot. I went there because I'm a biologist and I wanted to talk about finding life on exoplanets, only to discover the most anti-science wackadoo Facebook mom shit I've ever seen. I still check every day though, because the shit those kids come up with is wild. When I was working returns at Walmart, a black guy returned some stuff and he smelled like weed. The white dude walks up to me and asks if I smoke weed. I say no. Good, the government is bioengineering it to turn the NR into FTS so that their population decreases to get rid of them. Okay bro,